everyone, it's Jackie and I'm really excited to share with you. I'm making some homemade croutons today. I had a sourdough loaf of bread that it was on clearance. No one in my family wanted to eat it with our soup, but I didn't want it to go to waste. They didn't like the sourdough. I won't make that mistake again, but I bought it, like I said, because it was on clearance, and actually it was the only loaf of artisan bread that they had at the time there, but anyways, we had a loaf of bread left over that I didn't want to waste. So it was already sliced, as in like taking slices of bread for a sandwich, and then I used my electric knife and cut it up. So I have all of these bread. This is measuring, I didn't actually measure this, but it's almost 12 cups of cut up bread, and I have big croutons because that's what I like in my soup. I am following a recipe that I found on allrecipes.com. I am going to link it below. I think it was Chef John's crouton recipe. So it had really good ratings, which is something that I look for. This is not my recipe, but I'm just showing you how I make it. So I have had a tablespoon of garlic sitting in a half cup of light extra virgin olive oil for, it's been about 5 hours now. And so the recipe calls for a minimum of 3. And it says to strain it. So I am just straining all of the garlic chunks out of here. I'm going to let that sit just for a minute. So this is a garlic oil now, and you can see this is not my typical, don't fall, typical oil. You can see all the flavoring at the bottom there. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm pretty excited. I've never done this before, but it smells very garlicky, and the flavor certainly was infused. Okay, so now I have all my breadcrumbs sitting here, and I cut this up just from a loaf of bread. You could just go to the store, buy a loaf of artisan bread, and use it. That's essentially what I did because we ate very little of it. And then I have my seasoning here. I have a half teaspoon of salt, a half teaspoon of ground pepper, a half teaspoon of Italian seasoning, and a half teaspoon of paprika. We also have a half cup of grated Parmesan. So, I also have my silicone mat sitting in a cookie sheet. That's what we're going to bake it at. Before this gets started, you want to preheat your oven to 300 degrees. So I have done that. Okay, so now I have my bread in this bowl. The first thing it suggests doing is adding your oil. Then your Parmesan. And all my seasonings. So now I'm going to take this, and it just wants you to toss them to coat. I'm not very skilled at the tossing. I'm a little too messy for that. So I'm just taking my spatula and just moving them about. Particular day, I'm making my croutons to go on top of tomato soup. If you love tomato soup or any soups like I do, I will link to that recipe below. That is a recipe that I have made up, and I make it in the Instant Pot. You can easily make it stovetop or in a crock pot as well. But that recipe will be linked below, and that's a video I've made in the past. These are looking really delicious. You can see the coloring is getting pretty even on all these bread pieces, so the coating is spreading, and I'm going to find some at the bottom here and just keep moving it about and spreading the love, as I like to say. So the only thing I've done different than what he says is he doesn't specify sourdough bread. These are made with sourdough. But when you put all the seasonings on it and you're adding it into a soup, I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference, even if you don't like sourdough. I would just use whatever bread you have on hand because I don't like wasting stuff. This in the oven for 15 minutes. Turn it 15 minutes. I'm not going to waste my time showing you any of that, but you'll see them here. I'll probably show you a shot mid-turn. You guys, these are fantastic smelling, and I can guarantee you they taste delicious. Yum! I think probably because of the amount that I have, I'm going to turn them one more time and put them in for probably 10 more minutes. Get an extra bit of crisp on there and call it good. Okay, so this is my 8-year-old daughter. She has volunteered, actually begged to be my taste tester. Go ahead, sis, let me know what you think. Picks the biggest one, of course. Thank you for checking out this video. If you like it, please give it a big thumbs up. Let me know if you've ever made some homemade croutons yourself. And if you like these types of videos, make sure you subscribe and join my community here. Thank you, guys.